My name is Iris Temain, and I just turned 18. At my birthday party last night, my dad pulled me aside and whispered, "When this is over, you're going to sign some papers for Uncle Wade. Just a formality." I smiled. I nodded. Then I walked into the kitchen, opened my laptop, and quietly transferred my entire multi-million-dollar inheritance from my grandparents into an irrevocable trust, just as a precaution. The next morning, my parents and my younger sister found out that the cabin, the savings, the investments, everything was locked behind a legal wall they couldn't touch. My dad turned white. My uncle, who had already signed a deal to sell property he never owned, called a lawyer. Before I tell you what happened next, please hit like and subscribe. Drop your city and local time below. I love knowing where you're listening from. Now, let me take you back 6 years to a summer at Cedar Lake when my grandfather said something I didn't understand until last night. The summer I turned 12, my grandfather, Harold Temain, picks me up in his truck and drives me 40 minutes to Cedar Lake. The cabin sits back from the water, surrounded by white pines so tall they block the afternoon sun. The porch sags on one side. The screen door doesn't latch right. It smells like wood smoke and old books, and something sweet I can never quite name. "Grab the other end," Grandpa says, lifting a fence rail. I do. We spend the morning replacing 3 rotted posts along the south side. He doesn't rush me. He shows me how to check for soft spots by pressing my thumb into the grain. If it gives, it's done. Inside, Grandma Vivian has iced tea and 2 sandwiches waiting on the kitchen table. The one Grandpa built himself the year they got married. She's reading on the porch when I come out, and she pats the chair beside her. We sit and watch the lake until the light turns gold. This cabin stays in the family, Grandpa tells me that evening, wiping sawdust off his hands. But family isn't always blood, Iris. Family is whoever shows up. I don't fully understand what he means. I'm 12. I think he's being poetic. He isn't. That whole summer, I come back to Cedar Lake every weekend. I learn where the water heater leaks, which window sticks, how to bleed the radiator. In October, Grandma teaches me to organize the bookshelves by color because it makes the room feel warmer. Grandpa shows me the property line markers, old iron stakes he hammered in himself. I don't know then that my grandfather is already talking to a lawyer about exactly this place, about exactly me. Back home, the air is different. Our house in Ridgemont is fine. 3 bedrooms, a yard that needs mowing, a garage my dad uses as an office for his building supply store. Fine. Not warm, just fine. My sister Kelsey is 10 and she has the bigger bedroom. Redecorated last spring, lavender walls, a desk lamp that costs more than my entire bookshelf. My room still has the carpet from the previous owners. At dinner, my dad brings up the cabin. "Dad's place is just sitting there losing value," Greg says, cutting his steak. "Property taxes alone are killing us. We should sell it, reinvest." My mom nods. "Makes sense." "Grandpa said the cabin stays in the family," I say. Greg laughs. Not a mean laugh. Worse, a dismissive one. "You were 12, Iris." He was being nice. Nobody asks me anything else. The conversation moves to Kelsey's debate trophy. Regional finalist. Very impressive. And Denise has already framed the certificate. I won the district science fair 2 weeks ago. The ribbon is still in my backpack. After dinner, I clear the plates. On the counter, half hidden under a grocery list, there's a glossy flyer, Ridgeline Development, lakefront lots. Premium prices now acquiring. There's a handwritten phone number in the margin. I don't know whose handwriting it is, not my dad's. I put the flyer back exactly where I found it, upstairs. I sit on my bed and think about Grandpa's kitchen table. The one he built with his hands. The one where Grandma sets my sandwich without asking what I want because she already knows. I think about the flyer downstairs. Someone is already measuring my grandparents' home in dollar signs. Grandpa Harold dies 2 years later. I'm 14. The funeral is on a Tuesday. Gray sky, damp grass, folding chairs that sink into the lawn. I sit in the second row, holding his handkerchief, blue plaid, frayed at the edges, smelling faintly of pine. At the reception, I notice Greg and his brother Wade standing by the dessert table, not eating, talking low. WDE has a folder tucked under his arm. Greg keeps nodding. I catch one sentence from Wade. We should move on this before probate gets complicated. They're talking about the cabin at the funeral. I say nothing. I'm 14. I have no power, no voice, and no idea that my grandfather already accounted for this exact moment. 2 years pass. I'm 16. Grandma Vivian gets sick in March and is gone by June. She holds my hand the last time I visit, her grip surprisingly firm. The cabin is yours, Iris, she whispers. Don't let them take it. Promise me. I promise, Grandma. She squeezes once and closes her eyes. After the funeral, another gray day, same folding chairs. Greg sits at our kitchen table and says to Denise, now we can finally sort out the property. He says it with relief, like something heavy has lifted. That same evening, Wade calls. I hear Greg on the phone in the garage, pacing. Yeah, no, I agree. Let's get it moving. His voice is lighter than it's been in weeks. I'm standing in the hallway holding a glass of water, and I realize something that sits in my chest like a stone. My grandmother's death isn't a loss to them, it's a clearance. I don't cry that night. I make a different kind of decision. I just don't know how to act on it yet. Between 16 and almost 18, the cabin becomes my quiet rebellion. Every Saturday morning, I drive out to Cedar Lake in the used Honda I bought with babysitting money. I patch the porch screen. I replace the weather stripping on the back door. I sweep pine needles off the roof because Grandpa taught me that's how leaks start. At home, the conversations shift. The cabin stops being Grandpa's place and starts being the family property. Greg says this at dinner like it's always been true. Wade shows up more often now. Every other Sunday, sometimes with manila folders, sometimes with a laptop open to real estate listings. I try once. What about Grandma's wish? She wanted me to keep it. Denise puts down her fork gently, the way she does before correcting Kelsey's homework. Your grandma was emotional at the end, sweetie. This is business. Business. That's the word they use for everything that used to be love. By 17, Greg starts being more direct. When you turn 18, we'll figure this out as a family. The way he says family, I know it means my way. One November afternoon, alone at the cabin, I'm clearing out the hall closet. Behind a stack of old quilts, I find a sealed envelope in Grandma Vivian's handwriting. My name's on the front. Inside, a single business card. Margaret Caldwell, attorney at law. Below her name, printed in small type, to Maine Family Trust. My hands shake, not from fear, from recognition. Grandma left this here for me to find. She knew I'd be the one cleaning out closets. Not Greg, not Wade, me. I slip the card into my wallet. I don't call. Not yet. 3 months before my 18th birthday, Margaret Caldwell calls me first. The call comes on a Thursday evening in February. I'm in my room doing Cal homework when my phone shows an unknown number with a local area code. Iris, this is Margaret Caldwell. I was your grandparents' attorney. Her voice is steady, professional, and careful, like someone who's rehearsed this opening. I need to speak with you before your birthday. There are things you need to know, and there isn't much time. She tells me to meet her the following Saturday at her office downtown. Alone, I go. Margaret Caldwell is in her late 50s, silver-haired with reading glasses on a chain around her neck. Her office is small, organized, and smells like old paper and coffee. She sits across from me and opens a folder. Your grandparents hired me 6 years ago, she says. They established an irrevocable trust. The cabin, a savings account, and an investment portfolio. Total value approximately $2.1 million. All of it is held in the trust. You are the sole beneficiary. I feel the room tilt slightly. My grandparents left me everything. They transferred it into the trust while they were alive. Legally, it never entered their estate. It can't go through probate. Your father and uncle have no claim. She slides a document across the desk, a summary of the trust. My name on the second line. The title to the cabin was recorded under the trust at the county recorder's office 6 years ago. Your father doesn't know that. Why didn't they tell him? Margaret pauses. your grandfather said, and these are his words. My sons will sell that cabin before the funeral flowers wilt. The room is quiet. I stare at the paper with my name on it. There's something else. Margaret says someone has been making inquiries at the county recorder's office about the cabin's title within the last month. I start paying attention after that meeting, not suspiciously, just quietly. The next Sunday, Wade comes for dinner. Afterward, he and Greg disappear into the garage. The door is open a crack. Not enough to see, but enough to hear. WDE's voice. I already signed the purchase agreement with Ridgeline 450, but we need the title clean before closing. Greg, how do we get it clean? Quit claim deed. Dad's gone. Mom's gone. We're the legal heirs. We quit claim the property to ourselves, record it, and sell. Is that legal? It's a standard real estate transfer between heirs. Nobody's going to question it. A pause then, Greg, quieter. What about Iris? My chest tightens. Wade's answer comes fast, like he's already thought about it. She's 17, Greg. She can't do anything. And by the time she's 18, the sale goes through. Done deal. She'll be upset. She'll get over it. We'll give her a cut. 50 grand for college. She should be grateful. I step back from the garage door. My hands are cold. Wade has already signed a purchase agreement, $450,000 with a development company, for a cabin he doesn't own on land held in a trust he doesn't know exists. That night, I sit on my bed and text Margaret 2 words. They're accelerating. Her reply comes in 3 minutes. I expected that. Come see me Saturday. We'll prepare everything you need. I close my phone and stare at the ceiling. In the next room, Kelsey is watching a show, laughing at something. Downstairs, my parents are loading the dishwasher, talking about weekend plans like nothing is happening. And in the garage, somewhere in WDE's folder, there's a contract that's already worthless. He just doesn't know it yet. Saturday, Margaret's office. She lays out the timeline on a legal pad, drawing lines between dates like a battle plan. The cabin title is already under the trust. If Wade files a quick claim deed, the county recorder should reject it because the chain of title won't match. The property hasn't been in your grandparents' personal name for 6 years. But if he submits additional documentation, an affidavit of heirship, maybe a falsified death certificate, he could create what's called a cloud on title that won't give him ownership, but it could tie the property up in litigation for a year or more. So, I have to act first. You have to act on time. She taps the calendar. The moment you turn 18, you're a legal adult. You can formally accept the role of successor beneficiary. Once you sign, I file a list pendants, a public notice of legal interest. At the county recorder's office first thing the next morning, that freezes the title. Nobody can record anything against it. I nod. What do I need to do? Show up, sign one document. I'll handle the rest. I sit with that for a moment. Should I tell my parents?
Margaret takes off her glasses.
Your grandfather specifically asked me to protect you, Iris, not to negotiate with them. I drive home. Greg is in the kitchen cheerful. Good news, kiddo. I'm throwing you a birthday party. Whole family, Saturday night. It's a big one. 18. He smiles. Denise smiles. Even Kelsey claps. I smile too. My dad is planning my birthday party. My uncle is planning to sell my grandmother's cabin. And I am sitting at the kitchen table, smiling. Because in 9 days, I am going to let them think everything is going exactly according to their schedule. I'm going to be honest with you. Sitting in my room that night knowing what was coming was one of the hardest things I've ever done. Part of me wanted to walk downstairs and just say it. Dad, I know. But Margaret was right. If I tipped them off, they'd find another way around it. So, I stayed quiet and I waited. Here's what I want to ask you. Have you ever had to stay silent to protect yourself, even when every part of you wanted to speak up? Tell me in the comments. I read them. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, because this story is about to turn. 5 days before my birthday, my mom sits down next to me on the couch. She's using her "let's talk like adults" voice. Soft, practiced, slightly rehearsed. Now that you're almost 18, Denise says there are some family decisions we should make together. Together. The word lands like a costume. The cabin costs money to maintain. She continues. Taxes, insurance, repairs. Your dad's business has been struggling, and if we sell, we could pay off the debt and set up a college fund for you and Kelsey. Both of you. Grandma wanted me to keep it. Denise's expression shifts. A flash of impatience quickly smoothed over. Your grandma was very sentimental at the end, Iris, but sentiment doesn't pay property taxes. Greg walks in right on cue. I wonder if they planned this. I've already talked to a buyer, he says. Good price, fair deal. Who's the buyer? He blinks. A development company. Wade knows them. What company? A longer pause. Ridgeline something. They're reputable. I don't push further. I'll think about it, I say. Greg pats my shoulder. That's my girl. He walks away satisfied like he's just closed a negotiation. Later that night, Kelsey knocks on my door. She's in pajamas, hair still damp from the shower. Iris. Yeah. She sits on the edge of my bed, picking out a thread on the comforter. Mom and Dad keep talking about the cabin at night after I'm supposed to be asleep. She looks at me sideways. They sound different, like they're planning something. Different how? Like they're excited, but also nervous. She pauses. Is something going on? I pull the blanket over her feet. Don't worry about it, Kels. She nods, but doesn't look convinced. I said I'd think about it. That's not a yes. And they know it, which is why they'll keep pushing. 3 days before my birthday, Uncle Wade shows up unannounced. He catches me in the driveway as I'm coming back from the grocery store. Casual clothes, big smile, leaning against his car like he just happened to be in the neighborhood. Wade is a real estate agent. Nothing he does is accidental. Hey kiddo, got a minute? Just want to talk, Uncle Tennies. We sit on the front steps. He leans forward, elbows on his knees. Here's the thing, Iris. That lake lot, just the land alone is worth 450. I can get us a deal with a buyer I trust. Fast close, clean paperwork. And what do I get? 50,000 cash for college. I let the number hang in the air. 50 out of 450. WDE smiles like I've said something cute. You're 18, Iris. 50 grand is a lot of money for someone your age. Most kids would jump at that. Whose name is on the deed, Uncle Wade? The smile freezes just for a second. A flicker behind the eyes, a micro adjustment, then it's back. Your grandparents, but they're gone now. Passes to your dad and me as next of kin. That's not how it works. I know it. He should know it. He sells houses for a living, but he's counting on me not knowing. I'll think about it, I say again. Wade stands, brushes off his jeans. Don't overthink this one, Iris. Opportunities like this don't wait. He drives away. Before he's even at the end of the street, he's on the phone. I can see his mouth moving through the driver's window. That night, I text Margaret again. They're accelerating, she replies. Stay the course. 3 more days. 3 more days. I can do 3 more days. The night before my birthday, I drive to the cabin alone. The road is quiet. Cedar Lake sits flat and dark under a half moon, and the pines along the bank look like cutouts against the sky. I park in the gravel patch Grandpa leveled himself, walk up the porch steps. Second one still cacks, and sit in the chair next to the one that used to be his. The air smells like rain and pine resin. I check my email. Margaret has sent the full document package, the acceptance of successor beneficiary form, the beneficiary designation confirmation, a 1-page summary of the trust terms, everything formatted, flagged with sticky tabs, ready for a signature, my signature. At midnight, I read each document twice. Then I closed my laptop and listened to the lake. Grandpa used to sit right here and say, "Patience isn't weakness, Iris. It's timing." I always thought he was talking about fishing. The tears come without warning. Not a collapse, not a breakdown, just a quiet overflow that I let happen. I cry because I wish this were different. I wish my dad had been the kind of man who would have taken me fishing at this lake instead of calculating its resale value. I wish my mom had asked me what I want instead of telling me what's practical. I wish I didn't have to sign a legal document at midnight to protect myself from the people who are supposed to protect me. But wishes don't hold up in court. Trust documents due. I wipe my face, lock the cabin door, drive home, lie down in bed, set my alarm for 11:45 p.m. In 6 hours, I turn 18. In 7, my family finds out that the cabin was never theirs to take. 11:50 p.m. My bedroom door is closed. The house is silent. Greg and Denise went to bed an hour ago, and Kelsey's light went off at 10. I open my laptop and connect to the video call. Margaret appears in her home office reading glasses on a stack of papers lit by a desk lamp. Ready? Ready? When the clock hits midnight, you are a legal adult in every sense that matters. I'll walk you through the signing. She goes through it one more time, clear and precise. I sign the acceptance of successor beneficiary form, a single-page document that confirms I'm formally receiving the trust my grandparents created. From that second forward, every decision about the trust's assets runs through me and Margaret as co-decision makers. Now, she says, first thing tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., I'll go to the county recorder's office and file a lease pendants. That's a public notice that says there's a legal interest pending on the property. Once it's recorded, no one can sell, transfer, or encumber the title while it's active. What if they've already filed something? Then whatever they filed will be flagged. The chain of title will show the trust recorded 6 years ago, not your father. Any conflicting document gets kicked back. I look at the signed paper in my hand, my name in ink, my grandparents' names in print above mine. Margaret's voice softens just slightly. This isn't a trick, Iris. This is your grandfather's last gift. You just had to be old enough to accept it. The clock on my laptop reads 12:03 a.m. I'm 18. I'm the legal beneficiary of the Temain Family Irrevocable Trust. And downstairs in the garage, my uncle's quitclaim deed is already a dead document. He'll find that out in about 9 hours. Across town in the kitchen of a rented duplex, Wade Temain is printing documents. I don't know this at the time. I piece it together later from what the county clerk told Margaret, and what Greg eventually admitted during one of